Dealing with creditors and debts can take a toll on your mental health, but there is support available and you never have to suffer in silence. But what about when dealing with bailiffs? Let's look at what you need to know about how bailiffs should deal with people with mental problems. Debt and mental health are strongly linked. The Royal College of Psychiatrists state that 50% of people in debt suffer from some form of mental health problem, and 25% of people with a mental health problem have debt. This means that debt doesn't just cause declining mental health, but mental health issues can cause debt too. It's a two-way street. Some creditors cause these issues because of illegal practices. You should report that behaviour to the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority. How bailiffs must treat a vulnerable person. Bailiffs must follow different guidelines than usual if they are recovering money from vulnerable people, and the rules regarding fees change too. For instance, they cannot visit your home when you're alone, and they should give you additional time to search for solutions. By law, the enforcement agent must also make sure that you receive debt advice before taking any action. You can get this type of advice from a charity or from Citizens Advice. Additionally, the bailiff cannot charge vulnerable people with some fees, saving the debtor money. For instance, a bailiff is typically not allowed to impose the fixed enforcement fee of £235. In some circumstances, the bailiff is not able to recover debts from vulnerable people and it will be passed back to the creditor. But who is classified as a vulnerable person? You may be classed to be a vulnerable person if you are either pregnant, a single parent or have young children at home, seriously ill, disabled, of elderly age, of young age, not fluent in English, recently injured, recently unemployed and now receiving DWP benefits, mourning the death of a loved one, and if you have mental health problems. If you suffer from mental health problems, you should inform the enforcement agent company immediately. Their contact details can be found on any letters that you receive or from their webpage. You may need to provide evidence, such as a doctor's note. If the enforcement agents do not accept your evidence of a mental health illness, you can complain or ask Citizens Advice agents to communicate with them. This has proved successful for vulnerable people in this situation. Can you get debt written off due to mental health? There are no laws to say that a company or creditors must write off your personal debt if you have a long-term medical health problem. However, in limited cases, the creditor may decide to write off smaller debts owed by vulnerable people. This will be at their discretion. Nevertheless, you should still communicate your situation with the companies you owe. By explaining your circumstances, they may offer a more affordable and appropriate repayment agreement. Additionally, I strongly urge you to get some extra support when dealing with your debt. You could reach out to debt charities like Step Change or even visit the Money Helper website. Mental health crisis breathing space. The Mental Health Crisis Breathing Space scheme is for people living in England and Wales who are suffering from a mental illness and are receiving treatment. It provides this type of debtor with breathing space lasting the entirety of their treatment plus an additional 30 days. With a breathing space scheme, all further action to collect a debt must stop, which means that these schemes also provide bailiff breathing space. You can only apply for mental health crisis breathing space through your AMHP, your approved mental health professional. They will submit evidence and a form to a debt advisor who will then apply for the scheme on your behalf. For those in Northern Ireland or Scotland, and for others who don't qualify for mental health crisis breathing space, then again, I would strongly urge you to speak to a debt charity like Step Change or to visit the Money Helper website.